Well, hello everybody in YouTube land. This is my first installment for my YouTube channel. My name's Chris. This is CR2 Motorsports. I'm on Instagram under CR2 Motorsports. That's what we go by. Basically, I wanted to start a YouTube channel uh, at the request of a few people. They thought it'd be cool because of one of my projects I'm working on. And it is basically an inspiration that I've had for a long time. And my background, before we go any further, has been basically anything automotive related. I've been in the industry regarding automotive in the lines of over-the-counter sales at a parts warehouse or a parts store. I've been over-the-counter retail for a restoration company that sold parts towards restoration projects and vehicles. I've also been in a restoration shop as a retailer for their product and also helped out behind the scenes in their shop and did some work in there to help get cars restored. Put a lot of nice, beautiful cars together. Mainly did a little cool stuff basically regarding, let's say, putting together quotes or finding the cool products and helping people get good prices. With me being in the industry for almost 8 years and the automotive restoration over the retail, sales, I had a lot of contacts, and so I went into the other job, and I was able to keep those contacts, network, and become pretty good at finding some pretty good deals for some of these people's cars, and they turn out to be very nice vehicles. Long run, still in the automotive industry. I'm currently working at a distribution warehouse for automotive. With that being said, it's wonderful. The inspiration for this is on my Instagram. Instagram does show under the CR2 Motorsports. You guys will notice on there, and gals will notice on there, that there is a brown car, Buick. And you'll see a lot of work on that and some framework being done. The inspiration for the car has been based on, well, let's say NASCAR. Recent days, you pick and choose what you like, hold your comments on what you don't like, but understandably, I still like them in regards that what was back in the day still can be, but for us in my age, and for folks who can't or are still young, we can relive it by having a vehicle that is a street legal stock car tribute. And with that being said, the one I actually got inspired by was based on What If. Now, you have all your great builders out there from the early 60s and 70s that were out there building really cool NASCAR products, NASCAR engines. You got the Woods brothers doing Ford. You got Holman Moody did Ford. Petty's, of course, did the Mopars. And then you also had Junior Johnson. He did the Chevrolets, GMs, all in their own right. Even Smokey Yunick, can't leave him out. I know there's probably other great engine builders and tuners out there, but it is the essential is these guys knew their cars so good, quoted by Junior Johnson himself, hey, if I'm out there at the track, I could tell you if my engine is running at that track or not by the sound. I know that car that well. Ma, I said I was working on an old brown Buick. As you can tell with the sign behind me, I like Buicks. So my what if is, hey, what if there was a Buick that had a pretty good backing and ran NASCAR and did pretty good? Well, there was. Back in the 60s and 70s and 80s, there was a company out there who basically weren't engine builders for NASCAR, but were engine builders for Buicks. And they would make a V6 Scream, a 350 Rock, a 400 Make People Worry, and believe it or not, 455s scared a lot of other products out there and manufacturers when they came into the market, mainly in drag racing. But yes, what if did happen. I was like, what if they did a NASCAR product? I had an 82 Regal at the time, and my 82 Regal had a Stage 1 455 and 1971 engine in it, nothing fancy. And I said, what if they built a NASCAR? So this is where it came from. I found a shirt online that had a blue trim around the word Kenny Bell Enterprises in pink. So that's what I wanted, a light blue car, 1980 or 82 for the number on the side, the Kenny Bell logo on the quarter panel, and then the 82 Grand National shadowed Buick on the bottom portion of the quarter behind the rear wheels, like they had on the 82 GN. I wanted the power bulge hood, top of a Grand National on it, and then of course your sponsor stickers and stuff all over the cars, and 295 15s in all four corners on 10-inch rims. Hey, that was it. That was going to be the thing. Unfortunately, several years ago, I was driving truck, automotive related, and got a call from my wife at 2 a.m. Hey, your garage is on fire. And guess what's sitting in the garage? So yes, I lost my 1982 Regal 455 car in that fire, along with a lot of other stuff. So my vision was kind of quelled for a while. Fast forward, if you're into the Instagram and you've seen it, the Kenny, I still had to drive to want to build one of these cars. And boom, came out of the clear blue. Somebody sent to me a vision, a picture actually, black and white. This was out of the back of a Kenny Bell catalog that had a Skylark stock car on it. And I thought it was like a little short track, mom and pop. No. This little Skylark, number 73, was raced by a driver who was convinced by Kenny Bell to leave his home with his family and run to Winston Cup West in the early 70s with that car. They believed in that car that much. The driver himself actually did quite a bit of work on the car himself. Home built the cage, home built the motor, did a lot of stuff, bought a lot of Kenny Bell product and said, hey, I'd like to get more. How fast can I go? Let's work with this. So that's where that came from. I was like, I need more information. Information started rolling in over a period of a couple years where I found out it was, guess what color? Light blue. Yeah, it was a light blue. In fact, people have told me that it was a petty blue or a grabber blue. And then people kind of in the know, I think grabber blue was created for the petties when they started running Fords. So they wouldn't call it petty blue because that was a Mopar based paint name at the time that they didn't want to infringe upon, but they shaded it off a little differently. And that's, they think, since he was out on the West Coast, that it was actually a petty or a grabber blue. And finally, one day it came in, very good, clear pictures. And I had a guy Photoshop it for me in a buzz. It was all there. It's like, that's the car. We're going to find it. We're going to build it. And then a few months later, I get pictures in black and white, very clear. It looked like they were taken yesterday, of a guy who was taking pictures of Perry Cottingham, the driver, the Kenny Bell car at the Ontario Motor Speedway in 1972, trying to qualify. Now, he didn't qualify as well as he wanted to, but he ran a lot better than he ever thought he would, because word has it that Kenny Bell had one of his best mechanics over there who was dabbled in stock cars with the small block Chevys and other stuff, showed up to see how the car was doing. And at 430 cubic inches, it was doing okay, but it was running out of steam. So apparently he went back to the shop, got the infamous stage 2 heads. According to him, I've spoken to him on the phone, the mechanic himself, the engine builder himself, Doug Jones. And he said he went out, took him, put him on the stock car at the track in Ontario, and that car was hauling butt, big time. Unfortunately, if you're knowing anything about Buicks, They're notorious for oiling issues, which this one showed its ugly head because of oiling issues, and it failed, popped the piston out of the side of the block. They did get the engine done at a later date and continued up the West Coast and did a few shows or a few races, and finally just basically that's the time frame when Chevrolet or NASCAR cracked down on the engine cubic inch size, and you got stuck mainly running Chevrolets with small blocks, 350s and stuff like that. But it was 430 cubic inches, top loader 4-speed, had a Edelbrock intake on it, a Kenny Bell cam, headers, and it had a 9-inch forward and back, and that's all they can remember about the car. It was Petty Blue or Grabber Blue. That was the thing. So my quest has ended up with owning this car that I'll show you here in a little while. So that is the build process that we're going to be going. Right now, I had to obtain another frame for the car. This car has a title with it. The other car doesn't. I have a silver car, a 72 Skylark, the brown one, and nicknamed Bud Ugly Brown Buick. And that's where it's going to be for a while until I actually get it painted. But I actually obtained a good frame and painted it. And like I said, this is budget. This is what this channel is going to be: budget, wire wheels, and Rust-Oleum, kids. Nothing fancy. Harbor Freight tools, hand tools, one impact driver. It's electric. And I'm borrowing friends and their tools and going to their shops and say, hey, can I have this pressed in, this pressed out? Hydraulic presses and stuff. I mean, just good friends. Had my nephew, had stock lower control arms on it with sway bar in the back. I wanted them boxed in. He took them and welded them up at his place and brought them back to me. So that's where we're at. It's the kind of budget we're on. It's not a built-on. I've actually been a lot of hands-on. I've done, if you go with my Instagram on the CR2 Motorsports Instagram, you will see a lot of the hands-on stuff I've done. Swapping out the bushings in all four corners. I've got Delrin, Del Aluminums from Global West up front. Have energy suspension in the rear. Did in-house here with just simple hand tools and one of those bushing kits from Harbor Freight. Nothing fancy. This is hopefully the beginning of the predecessor of the channel. I hope to have you guys on board. Hope you guys will stick with me. I don't know anything about editing yet in regards to putting up pictures and signs and logos down here on the bottom and stuff. Bear with me. I will get that squared away eventually. And I hope in the long run that you stick with me, see the build. And you never know, we might also throw in some other projects. I got one in mind right now, and we'll probably address that one too. It's a fun one. It's also a Buick. So I'm not going to be the guy that's going to go out like a lot of these others and just go get a car out of the middle of the field and try to drive it home. I don't have that expertise, and I will admit I don't have that expertise. And I'm not going to put a car like that on the road without that expertise and have an issue where I'm going to have a problem and maybe cause an accident or something. There are others out there that do that, and by golly, I'll be the first to admit I watch them. I think they're awesome to see those guys do that with that expertise. I'm not there, not even close. But I will say what I can do is take a car, get it running the way I like on a budget. And if the sheet metal work, takes self-tapping screws to put good floors in it and some fiberglass to make it look better, seal it up, and it's going to run and look good for the next 5, 6 years, 7 years, 8 years, 10 years. And I'm happy with it. That's all that matters. I don't give a crap what anybody else is happy with on what my car is going to be built my way. So I appreciate it if you guys are going to stick with me, and gals. You never know who you may see on here. I have several friends that I can bring in. I have family members that won't mind. In the future, I have one gentleman, I believe, if we can really make this go and he gets his stuff together, he might be a co-host with me. But right now it's just me, hand tools, a one-car garage, and dream to make things happen and work to have a street legal stock car and enjoy it. Now, speaking of which, and this is kind of a promo for, not a promo, but a tout or an ad, if you would. There is a Facebook page called Street Legal Stock Car Tributes. I and another gentleman have started that page several years ago. And to see how and why the passion is there, feel free to hop on it, take a look. It's on Instagram too. But it has Street Legal Stock Car Tributes. And these guys, we have gone from going and cruising in with the transports and the transport parade to doing charity laps at various open tracks in the South, like in South Carolina, Georgia, North Carolina, so on and so forth, down in Florida, and raised money for certain things. And we also try to raise money to help Petty and his causes with his thing helping kids down there. We also get on board and do a lot of other things. We get together sometimes with our cars, sometimes we don't. Networking, getting other people, and I have to say the inspiration still is north of me. The biggest part, when I was driving truck, I ran into, having this thought in the back of your head back here going all the time. And when I was driving truck, I kept going north to this one small town going into northern Indiana. And I ran across several times a 1964 Ford Galaxy. And it was sitting in front of a gas station. I thought it was a promo car, or actually this is their race car. Until when the weather got nicer, I didn't see it, and then started seeing it going up and down the same road I was on, being driven. To this day, I've never seen that guy yet. I've never caught that driver, but I want to say thank you to him. If you happen to be him and you get on this channel, you're the inspiration for all this, especially with the YouTube. And thank you for the old guys in the old stock car days when they actually had their crap together and knew what they were doing. And when the drivers were drivers and actually worked on their own rides and they could handle this equipment. And like Junior Johnson, know their car if they heard them running at the track. And that's where I'm at. That's the kind of people I wish I grew up with. I actually been down to the Winston-Salem Museum in North Carolina, and I tell you what, it's a phenomenal thing to actually get to interchange and talk with those people down there, and meet some of the drivers that are out of my car, that Facebook page, see their cars, follow them, and watch other people's reactions. It's actually a unique thing to see. Is cruising down the road and you see 12, 13 old-fashioned stock cars hauling ass down the road. So it's awesome. Well, I don't know how long I'm allowed to have, but I'm going to cut it off here. Again, Chris Reed. This is the new YouTube channel that I just started. This is my promo thing. Introduction, if you would. And it's the CR2 Motorsports. I don't know if I want to call it Garage, Network, Compound, whatever. Right now it's the CR2 Motorsports. And I appreciate it. Anybody hangs on with me, sticks around, wants to see the build, and any input you can bring me, I would greatly appreciate it. I'll follow anything you do. So thanks for hanging out. Thanks for listening to me drone on. And build them if you got them, dudes. Don't let them sit around. Build them if you got them. We'll talk to you later. Bye.